Okay, I know it's been a really long time since The Dark Knight has been released. I don't care if this is a hot take or not, it's been by a few other people. To be honest, I don't care about the time length between the release of The Dark Knight and the release of this video. The Dark Knight is considered to be a flawless film by so many people. Also, please don't give me the whole people have their own opinions line. That doesn't always apply to some cases. I can think of some examples, such as the movie Cuties, which sexualizes kids, and while I didn't watch that movie, from the screenshots I've seen, and from what I was told, fuck that movie. Anyways, back to The Dark Knight. This video is going to go over why The Dark Knight is bad, and why I personally hate it more than ever. When I first saw The Dark Knight, it was in high school of 2019, I think, and I thought it was good. To be honest, I don't remember much of it aside from Heath Ledger's Joker and Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face. In fact, looking back, I found it more of a dumb, cheesy, stupid action movie than a serious crime drama. However, I remember one person calling it a shame that I didn't see The Dark Knight when it was released. Also, when Joker 2019 came out, I told that person, they responded with ew. Then I told that person people's opinions, and that person said people are stupid and that the film is clearly stupid. I also chatted with other people around YouTube about The Dark Knight, and they go all crazy that those who don't like The Dark Knight are stupid. Their opinion is wrong, they say. The rest is what you expect from diehard Dark Knight fans. Now, for my opinion, which I don't think it's safe to say, but I'll say it anyway, The Dark Knight is the worst Batman movie of all time. For its own quality, the praise it gets, the impact it's left on the superhero genre, and a few other reasons. You see, The Dark Knight is a movie that's supposed to be serious, but I can't take it seriously because certain aspects like Batman's voice sound too grouchy or sore. It sounds really bad when he's trying to be tough. It doesn't make him tough at all, and it sounds absolutely garbage compared to other voice actors who took the role as Batman. It sounds so fucking awful that it's not even funny anymore. I understand he needs to be unrecognizable, but this is way too try-hard. That is flat out embarrassing. Ben Affleck's voice sounds so much better. Kevin Conroy sounds so much better. Even Rino Romano sounds more accurate despite sounding younger. But it still works for what it's going for. The list goes on. Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is just unlikable. He's a bit of a chore to watch. I understand he has to cover up his act or whatever, but this is just annoying. He goes on about how his parents died. He even kills the person who murdered his parents, and I have mixed feelings about it. The reason why he became Batman was to stop other children from losing their parents the way he has, and the reason why he never killed because he feared he would end up enjoying it and it would turn him into a killer. He even kills some people in Batman Begins. I watched the first two Dark Knight films in the trilogy, and the first one is okay at best and mediocre at worst. I've also seen some clips of The Dark Knight Rises, and Batman becomes more whiny than any other movie he's in. He also looks like an old man in the Batsuit for some reason. Like the suit, aside from looking all gimpy, it looks also wrinkly. Even when you don't compare him to other actors such as Batman, such as Kevin Conroy or Michael Keaton, who played Batman in the 1980s and 1990s, the flaws in Bale's performance are blatant regardless. The films are seemingly too much into speech, and aside from it being cliche, it feels long and overdone. I'm okay with stuff like that, but it's full of fucking monologues or deep conversations, and it just gets cheesy, then boring, then annoying. Our hand is constantly held, and it's stupid. It's tiresome to listen to something in almost every line in two movies. Joker 2019 does these speeches 100 times better because, for the most part, there's few and they're far between each other, and aren't full of basic lessons that have been told or done to death. Batman in general is somehow the worst part of it all. The fight scenes are badly choreographed or filmed, very few manage to be good or at least decent. Batman's strength is inconsistent and random, and the plot needs it to be. He does absolutely zero detective work. All he did was take a bullet and try to analyze it, which makes no sense, at least to me. Also, can someone explain how do you get a fingerprint on a bullet? Wouldn't it have to be in some sort of canister or ammo load? Also, Batman makes a ton of stupid decisions. He tries to tear into a moving van through the side. Why not break through the back of the van or through the driver's window? Also, the face he makes while he's trying to do it looks fucking stupid, as if he just ate something sour. Am I the only one who sees this? Also, I'm not sure if this was mentioned in other videos, but how the hell did everyone not notice the escaped mentally ill patients and Joker standing in the uniforms? At the very least, Joker would have been the one to have been spotted first since he has two massive scars on his face. Also, why are they having some ceremony in the streets in broad daylight when all the convicts had escaped? Wouldn't they have known from the news that the mentally ill patients got out? We've seen the news in a fair amount of scenes. Also, how does Gordon fake his death? How do you survive a gunshot in the back? How did Gordon even predict the Joker would attack or be in the front row to shoot the speaker? A lot of you will probably say that Joker couldn't have known, but the scene where Gordon reveals himself to be alive seems like he's somehow prepared for this moment to come. Was it by coincidence? Even by coincidence's standards, that's too unlikely and improbable. Also, if Gordon didn't die, how come there's no pulse when the guy checks him? Also, wouldn't Gordon be exhaling in pain? Even if he survived, how can he take the pain of a gunshot? Wouldn't it be burning? I'm not sure. Another thing that's also been mentioned but completely ignored is the way Joker rigged the boats with explosives. How is the Joker able to smuggle that much explosives without anyone noticing? It makes no sense. Who smuggled them in for him? Wouldn't someone have noticed anything? Also, why did the US Army men take the boat with civilians and the regular police take the boat with convicts? Also, the convicts are in close range with the police. Also, the restraints for the prisoners look like they're those zip ties. Aren't there some prisoners who are strong enough to break free and then grab the shotguns which are an arm's length away? Why not use normal handcuffs? It's actually possible to escape from zip ties. Also, for asylum prisoners, they seem pretty calm despite being told that they'll be blown up by the other boat. Wouldn't there be a panic in the boats, like people trying to rush the remote holder to kill and blow up the other? Another massive problem is the bank robbery. The robbers kill each other to earn more money, but for some reason they don't suspect their teammates might kill them. Also, this one guy who tries to fight back doesn't try to take cover. He knows the robbers have guns, instead he continues to scream they're dead. Also, he survives from being shot a bunch of times from a machine gun. I don't know if that's me. Also, the robbers are... Wait, were they mental patients again? From what I've heard or seen from others, most of the Joker's men are mental ill patients. How do they pull off all the stunts properly without flaws? Also, the Joker somehow timed the bus correctly to hit the guy trying to shoot him. This movie is supposed to be a serious, realistic film, everyone. Don't complain about me complaining about it pulling stuff like this. This is something I definitely haven't seen anywhere else. How exactly did Harvey Dent get captured after he was rescued by Batman or Gordon during the car chase? We see him get driven away, but we don't see how he got captured. The same thing can be said with Rachel. I understand the cops are corrupt, but are all of them corrupt? Or at the very least, didn't any of them notice? How come the film never shows us how Harvey and Rachel get kidnapped? There isn't much of an explanation. Also, the coin really should have been destroyed and melted from the heat and radiation of the explosion, or at the very least be completely burnt on all sides. Also, in the hospital, Harvey's scars are covered by a cloth that isn't restrained. What if Harvey were to take it off and look at his wounds, which he pretty much does? Also, how come Harvey Dent is the only person left in the hospital? Why is he the last person to be wheeled out? Also, why did they only send one police officer to get Harvey out? Why not a squad of officers? Isn't Harvey the mayor or president or most reliable person or something? Wouldn't he be the first person to be wheeled out of the hospital? And how come people didn't notice the Joker disguised as a nurse when his eyes still have makeup on them? Also, Harvey Dent turns evil because of his girlfriend dying. Doesn't he realize he's not the only person to have lost a loved one? Also, this is another thing that may have been mentioned, but actually no, I don't think it was mentioned, but I can't help but bring it up. Batman always shows at the most convenient time possible, and his voice just highlights how stupid they are. To those of you who say The Dark Knight is the most realistic superhero movie, how is teleporting to the most convenient time possible realistic? Also, Batman for the most part feels like a Mary Sue. I know it doesn't sound like the right way to say it, or it sounds wrong, but honestly everything he plans always goes right for some reason. I know those examples are subjective, but every time Batman meets with Gordon, he knows what he's said, and he knows what he's going to do. I'm not sure. That just seems... Am I the only one who noticed that? Because I think I am. Also, during the escorting of Coleman and Reese, why does Gordon think Batman will save them in the daytime when Batman has been showing up to them at night for the most part? Also, how come Bruce isn't hurt at all when he was intentionally protecting Reese? When he's out of the car, there's no cuts, scrapes, and bruises, or any kind of injuries on him. Also, for the vehicle Reese scored in the cop were in, I don't think the force of the guy trying to smash them would move that fast or even at all when the guy speeds up to crash into them. Also, Fox stops working with Batman/Bruce because he improved or innovated his phone hacking experiment. He acts like he's not into watching 300 people when the whole point of watching people was to protect them. He didn't talk. Didn't he and Alfred talk about this, or didn't Fox know of this before? I'm not sure, guys. This part confuses me. Basically, Fox thinks this is wrong and how Batman is watching everyone justify Joker. Okay. Lucius, didn't you see what the Joker did? He blew up a hospital, for fuck's sake, injured Harvey Dent and killed his girlfriend, robbed a bank, presumably killed people in a car chase previously, etc. Have you been living under a rock? Also, how exactly are you able to watch at least, I think, 30 million people with so many small screens? Or wait, I don't remember the exact number. The amount isn't even close to 5 million. How can you hear the Joker with so many sounds coming at once? Wouldn't it cause some echoing sounds or distorted noise? When Gordon and his men are looking at the hostages, you can see the duct tape on the masked victims, and you can also see the fake hostages' faces. Don't say that it's too dark for them to see. You can see just fine yourself. Also, one side of Harvey's leather suit has the same texture or burn marks as the left side of his face. Also, Gordon says they have 5 minutes, and after Batman flies off, Gordon says they have 2 minutes until they breach. Not even 3 minutes has passed. Also, how does Batman know where Gordon and Harvey are located? How does he get there on time? Why does Harvey attempt to shoot a child? Also, why does Batman tell Harvey that saving Rachel wasn't a chance? Wouldn't that make the chances of Harvey shooting him more likely? Also, Batman just pushes and kills Harvey by sending him over the edge like it's nothing, despite Harvey being the mayor. And you say Batman doesn't kill? Also, Gordon says Harvey killed 5 people when we've only seen him kill 2. The cinematography, camera work, lighting, color scheme, or presentation in general isn't really anything new. It just looks boring and basic. Dialogue is serviceable for the most part. Acting in general is at least 5 or 6 out of 10. Heath Ledger as Joker, obviously being the best out of all of them. He's definitely worth an 8 or 9 out of 10. Christian Bale as Bruce and Batman is the lowest for me. It's either a 2, 3, or 4 out of 10. Worst Batman and Bruce ever. Honestly, Alex Nero, played by Mark Baggio from Fear the Reaper, is more likable and watchable than Christian Bale. The music is fine for the most part. One problem is that it replays a lot of times. Granted, Joker 2019 did that too, but it worked better in Joker 2019 because it had more variety and the songs it did replay actually fit the tone and made the scene great. It didn't shove them into the viewer's face. The fight scenes, as mentioned before, are full of shaky cam. If you look closely, you can see some of the people Batman is fighting don't even try to fight him at all. Like one scene where Batman chops a fake doctor on the neck is extremely easily and effortless. The CGI for Two-Face looks good, though how is his right eye still working? The camera, for the most part, is basic, such as aerial shots, spinning cameras, nothing new. Honestly, for visuals, I don't have much to say on them. In conclusion, The Dark Knight 2008 is the worst Batman movie ever made. The acting is average at best and underwhelming at worst. Visuals range from okay to bland. The story is a mess. It's not that faithful to the source material, or it is, but it never understands what makes Batman so good. The fight scenes are bad. The logic and methodology is flawed and pointless. Nothing stands out that much. The characters are shallow for the most part, aside from either Harvey/Two-Face or Joker. The film is just extremely mediocre and not good. What makes me hate it is the fact that many people say this is the best superhero movie ever made. They say it's the definitive version of Batman media, but it's not. I'll never understand why people love this stupid film. I've actually been called low by one person because of my opinion. They say Christopher Nolan said he wanted to create the perfect Batman, and they say he did. But how is saying it enough? How does that prove it? I hate how so much praise goes to The Dark Knight when it's not the only one to do the whole dark, gritty superhero setting. It annoys me to see how oblivious people are to the flaws of this movie and how it has affected the super movies as a whole. Every Batman media is now somehow inferior to The Dark Knight. Why is The Dark Knight on top of all Batman media? It's bullshit how people say this is the definitive Batman movie. It's not even great to make fun of it. Honestly, when I hear some people's reasons why The Dark Knight sucks, I understand them and I agree with them. You might hate me for this, but I wouldn't give a shit. In all honesty, I feel ashamed for ever liking The Dark Knight in the first place. I honestly hope The Dark Knight stops being praised and people realize that Christopher Nolan isn't the end-all be-all as they say he is. Honestly, if you're wondering if I could recommend this, I'd say no, probably because of my bias and from what I've seen from numerous Batman media I saw when I was younger. The way Dark Knight fans defend the movie is really toxic, and the impact it has left on Batman as a whole. Am I allowed to have my own opinion? Or do you need to hate me for it and say that I'm a moron? I don't care at this point. I hope you understand why I believe The Dark Knight is a bad Batman film. Despite all I've said, you're allowed to disagree with me. We should all have our own opinions, otherwise we'd be robots. But please understand why this movie doesn't deserve the positive reception it has received aside from Heath Ledger's Joker. A lot of the info I learned was from other videos. I'll credit them in the description below. Thank you for watching again. Don't forget to subscribe for more reviews, animations, and gameplays, and live streams.